Welcome to another edition of Luthier's Lair. This is a one-off episode, special edition. I'll be preparing one of my personal Scarab bases for sale. Yes, indeed. Yes, it's a Gazzbass Scarab Series II standard. That's no LEDs in the neck or anything. It's a standard Scarab Series II. Sounds fantastic though. And what we're going to do is we're going to get it all cleaned up, spruced up, double check it, everything like that. Make sure it's okay. It's a couple of years old now, so it'll be sold as a used base, probably on the Facey marketplace. Let's see. And yeah, I think you might enjoy this one. It's a bit of fun. So let's go ahead and see what we've got. Right. So here it is. It's a Gazzbass Scarab Series II standard. It's a bit grubby and mucky, and that's what we're going to be concentrating on today to get it all cleaned up and ready for sale. So, what does the Series II standard have? Well, it has a Gazzbass profile and width neck. So at the nut up there it's 38mm, and the pocket size is similar to the Fender Gazzbass. In this one it has mother of pearl dot inlays, beautiful mother of pearl, not the bland white ones but the multicoloured ones, kind of like Avalon, very nice. It has two dual coil soap bar style pickups that can be run in series or parallel using these switches here. Okay, the headstock up there is a lot different from a Fender, of course, it has to be, or else I'd get my ass sued. It has the little Scarab engraved insignia on it here. Down here I have a standard, the Hipshot high mass bridge, which I love. Fantastic bridge, tremendous. The bass is active. We have a battery compartment on the back there. One 9-volt battery, and here we have pickup balance, bridge pickup, neck pickup, master volume, bass, middle and treble, standard 1.5 inch jack output. And this bass is has two tones to it. The side is darker than the surfaces, and the wood is sapelli, which is quite a heavy wood, but the Scarab Series II is a small body, smallish body, and the weight is reasonable. It's about 8.5 pounds. For you guys out there who are metric, that's about 3.7 kilograms, I believe. No, about 4 kilograms. Just say 4 kilograms. The two strap locks there, the strap holders have locking nuts on them that I supply, and that's about it. It's standard chrome. The string tree on the headstock here is by Hipshot, and it's a 2-string string tree. I like these ones better than the standard ones you get with like jazz basses and stuff. So it's a beautiful bass, and it is very playable, and it sounds fantastic. It really does. It's very bright, very high end, but also you can get like a P-bass sound out of it if you want, you know, a jazz bass sound out of it if you want. You can get actually very close to the Status King bass sound out of this with the special preamp. And it's a Scarab Series II preamp. Yeah, it's very versatile. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it sort of polished up and set up. I'm going to take the strings off, clean the neck, It's maple, so it won't need any linseed oil on it. I just need to clean the frets up a little bit, polish them a little bit, and go over the hardware, polish all the hardware, and you know, get the bridge cleaned up because it's a bit grubby. The finish on this one is a 2K catalyzed polyurethane, but what I did was I didn't completely fill the grain. I wanted some sort of natural look to the wood, so I 3/4 filled the grain, sanded it back, sprayed the 2K on it, and only gave it 3 coats of 2K catalyzed polyurethane, then polished it up. I do see that there's still some, actually there's a little bit of polishing compound in there. Yeah, easy knowing I was building it for myself, right? So yeah, I don't hold myself in high regard. What a shame. Maybe that will change. So yeah, let's get it all polished up and ready to go on sale. And of course, the Series 2 standard base price is $1,350, $1,350 USD. This one is, of course, a used base, so it'll be going on sale, and we'll probably be putting this up for sale for $9.99, I think, just under the 1K. I think that's what we'll be doing. So, without much further ado, let's get on with this. So, first off, I'm going to get these frets cleaned up. That's the first order of business. I've done the first 3 already. 4th one I'm on to now, and I mean, the frets are in really good condition here. They don't need recrowned or anything. They just need deoxidized and polished up a bit, and just to look nice. And I use fret erasers, like I say. This is 180 grit, 400 grit, 1000 grit, 1500 grit, 2000 grit. I usually go with 1000 just to take oxidization off the frets, and it just brings back the luster. You just go across them like that. Doesn't take much at all. Look at that, big difference. These are really good, and I do supply these actually with all the bases I sell. I've started, you know, supplying essential tools, which you should do with mid to high end bases. You know, it just gives the player a head start. You don't just hand them the base over and say, on you go. You give them nice documentation, you give them all this other stuff, and it makes the experience much more enjoyable to the player. You know, it's a personalisation thing, and you know, it's coming out of my pocket and I don't care. As long as I've got happy customers, I'm happy. So we're going to go and we'll polish up all the frets like this. They're all level and everything, so I'm not going to re-level them or anything like that. I'm just polishing them up, and then, you know, the fingerboard's a bit dirty from where I've been playing, so I'll just clean that up. It doesn't need oiled. This is sealed maple, so it doesn't need oiled, it just needs cleaned up. You can get various instrument polishes, but a good degreaser should do. I think like Windex or Windoline, as you call it in the UK, is a bit too harsh, but so I have Simple Green. Simple Green's a great little degreaser, and I'll be using that to clean the fingerboard. So let's get them all done. Okay, so fretboard all clean, all nice and clean, very clean, and the frets nice and buffed up, looking good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on some of the hardware here. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not. I'm going to start sort of cleaning up and polishing up the body. You know, sort of polish up the body, and all it is just little smudge marks, so it should be real quick to clean up, very quick. There's a tiny trace of polishing compound there that I'm going to get out. A polishing compound remover, I'll clean the pickups. And then the last thing is we'll go over the hardware, we'll clean that up, we'll clean the tuning pegs, the string tree, stuff like that. And then we'll get new strings on it and we'll set it up. And I'll quickly show you the setup process. It shouldn't need too much setting up actually. New strings, you do need to do a precursory check to get setup done. And then you should be plain sailing from there. So let's go ahead. Let's get the body clean, hardware clean, then we'll switch to setup. Everything's polished up. So I've ran some strings through here, cut them to size, and if you're going by a kind of a fendery sort of gauge, you know, I always cut them one, this is the A string, so it's 1, 2 tune spacers. Some people cut a little more, I don't. And let's get her strung up. And of course the windings of the string, bend that back like that. Get some loops in there. Alright, you want the windings to go down the way, not up the way. I'll show you that in a minute. If I can get another one manually, yes, see, tuck them up. Make sure to start at the top and go down the way. And get yourself one of these. Tuning winder, much easier. Okay. Floppity flop flop. Again, into the hole, not through the slot, in the hole, okay? If you know what I mean, without sounding too rude. Keep this pressed down, and then when you go to wind it, it will go to the bottom, like it's meant to do. Wow, that's in tune, nearly. And yeah, rinse and repeat. You should get 3 windings with the way I cut them, which is more than enough. This one's special, of course. Special, because it's part of the string tree, to get a good break angle on the string. And so on and so forth, you get the idea. Once it's strung, we will do setup. Setup time. Okay, basic setup. First off, the stuff you're going to need for setting up any guitar, a bass guitar in particular, a capo or capo. This is to clamp the first fret down, which I'm going to do right now actually. This is to check neck relief. A 12 thou feeler gauge. You can get a set of feeler gauges for very cheap, probably off Amazon, something like that, and they're pretty accurate, so don't worry. A string rule, string height ruler. That's a Luthier's rule. You can get these too, very cheap, nice. An Allen key or whatever else you need to do to get at the truss rod, to adjust the truss rod, okay? And a small screwdriver for putting in here and adjusting the saddles back and forward for intonation. And oh dear, I forgot the magic one, which is little Allen key in there for adjusting string height. Okay, first off, let's check neck relief. See, I've got dust all over this already. What a waste of time. Anyway, neck relief. Take 12 thou feeler gauge. I'm clamping the neck at the first fret with the capo. I'll lift the bass like that. It's roughly in tune, roughly the string tension. I'm going to hold down the 17th fret on a 21 fret bass. On a 24 you'd hold down the 19th, I usually do. And you go to the 7th fret and you slip in that feeler gauge. And if it just fits, just slides through, your neck is beautiful. Which this one is. I knew it would be because it had been set up before. Now, if it falls all the way through, then you've got too much of a back bow in the neck and you need to tighten the truss rod, which usually turns to the right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Same thing, if you can't get the feeler gauge through, the neck is too straight or has a forward bow to it, convex bow to it, and you need to loosen the truss rod, but this one's fine. Absolutely perfect. Perfect. String height next is string height, and I use the 64ths here on the rule. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. 64ths, and I like between 5 and 6 64ths at the 17th fret on a 21 fret bass. So 12, 15, 17, that's that last, the second last dot there. Let's pick it up. Let's have a look. Too high. 6 64ths. The A string is about bang on. The D string's too high. And the G is too high. So the strings need to come down slightly. Now, this will test our fret job. So, I'll be right back. Alright, so, as I said, I've just adjusted the G. It is now at 5 64ths. The D is at 6 64ths, so it's going to come down. And I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to bring this down half a turn there. And again half a turn here. Now remember, the trick is these can't be all higgledy-piggledy. They've got to be level, right? But they've got to conform to the radius of curvature of the neck. Okay? So keep even, that's 5 64ths, that's bang on. Good. The A, the 17th, it's just about bang on. I'm going to bring it down a nick, just a little notch, maybe about an 1/8 of a turn. You kind of get the gist of this, you know. Five 64ths, and the E is way high. You have to come down right down to the floor, it looks like. Let's have a look. See? Okay. And we're good. That's it. String height set. Of course, I'll be slightly out of tune. The next thing I like to do, before I check intonation, which requires me to plug the bass in, and have a little bit of a listen, is to check the pickup height. And what I like to do is, I go to the 21st fret, I get a 4mm wrench here, Allen wrench, do that, and if that just slides under, I'm good. Yeah. And the same at the G. Oh, it's a little bit, yeah, it needs to go down here. So there's where this screw comes in handy, and we just tamp that down a little bit, and under we go. We're good there. So that's that set. That's the way you usually set these things. See, it's nicely adjustable. Just give that another little turn. Okay, now we can check intonation. So I'm going to go set up for intonation. I'll show you what I do for that. Awesome. Intonation time. This is, you can't get perfect intonation. It doesn't exist because you've got gaps in between the frets. Sorry, but you can't, but you can get really close. So here's what's happened here. I use the tuner here. Actually, I'm going to stretch the strings, pull them up, because they're new strings, haven't bedded in yet, so give them a stretch. Alright. Watch the tuner. Get them perfectly in tune. There you go. That's good. Okay, we're good. Now, 12th fret should be an E. That's sharp, very slightly sharp, okay? Of course, the strings are stretching on me because they're new. Get in tune. Almost acceptable. Now if it's sharp, that means that I need to pull this saddle back a bit. The string's too short. Okay? So go in here and I push the saddle this way. Okay? So there we go. Not finding the right I'll not say it. There you go. That's in tune. Sharp. Saddle needs to come back. Of course, if it was flat, then the saddle would go forward. Just very slightly. Sharp again. So that's the key. You pull back. Oh, it's tight. If it's sharp, pull forward. If it's flat. Okay, so that's the key to intonation, but we'll just see what's needed here. The D is bang on. And another trick is to play the harmonic, of course. We're nearly there. There's hardly any adjustment needed, really. Okay, so just slight tweaks and we'll get that all tuned up and good. Intonation will be done and we'll be ready to have a little play at it. I mean, I've got it covered in dirt again. Okay, polish with t-shirt, soft t-shirt. Luthier should always wear lint-free t-shirts because you never know when you're going to need them.